Lopez.
And I'm Brendan Moran. Welcome to Creek Currents.
In this episode, I'll take you to the newest jewel in Walnut Creek at Larkey Park. Plus, we'll also take you to the unveiling of a new conversational art piece on Main Street and Mount Diablo Boulevard.
But first, I got the opportunity to sit down with Mayor Rich Carlston for a report on the state of the city. Hey, I'm Brendan Moran with Creek Currents. I'm here with Mayor Rich Carlston, and today we're going to discuss the state of the city. Mayor, welcome.
Well, welcome to you, and thank you very much for doing this.
Of course. So the first question is the obvious one. How is the state of the city?
The city of Walnut Creek is doing very well. We continue to be a very livable place. People like to come to Walnut Creek. Residents continue to enjoy our wonderful quality of life from our parks, from our schools, from our library, from our open space, from our arts and recreation programs, and our senior programs and theater. I could go on, but there's no point in doing that. We have a very diverse economy. We are a job generator for the area, and we have strong retail markets, restaurants, financial markets, and service industries. And we're generally doing financially on a very good footing. We have some challenges down the road, but as of right now, we're still looking to allocate about $13 million of unallocated general funds that were surplus. And we're a safe community, and the numbers that I've been provided, which I'm very proud of, are crime has dropped in Walnut Creek by 16% overall last year, to include reductions of 30% in auto burglaries and 25% in residential burglaries.
Wow.
So I think we're doing very well, and I think our residents recognize that.
And you mentioned there's a surplus this year, right?
There is.
Does the city have any idea what they're going to do with the extra money?
Well, we started out with a $16.8 million surplus. We've already allocated approximately 3 3/4 of that, $3.75 million. We allocated $2 million to relocate in the courtyard, which we're doing in conjunction with the sale of property, so we can have another hotel in Walnut Creek. We've allocated $1 million in matching funds to the Leisure Center project. It's a plaza project that's going to expand the plaza and become a very vibrant and wonderful location for the residents of Walnut Creek. And $750,000 to Walnut Creek downtown for an extended parklet, also to be a gathering point for the residents. We've already made some of those expenditures, but we have approximately $13 million to go. We're holding off on dealing with those expenditures until we get further information from the state retirement CalPERS. CalPERS has recently readjusted their interest rates to become much more market aware and correct. But when they adjust their rates down from an investment, that means that the cities have to pay more. And we're trying to determine what we're going to have to pay, and we want to reserve sufficient funds so that we will financially be very well positioned vis-a-vis that particular fund in the future. So we are going to be looking at that in the future, and we welcome anybody to provide input with respect to those issues.
The council has identified 4 main goals, right? And one of those being how to meet the needs of their infrastructure in the city. Can you talk to me about that a little bit?
A couple of years ago, we put in place a long-term financial plan, and that long-term financial plan was to look at all of our required expenditures over the next 10 years, as well as our projected revenues. We have sufficient funds based on the long-term financial plan to take care of operating, but the area that we have difficulty with is our infrastructure. We have over 40 buildings that are 40 years plus in age that may need significant amounts of work in the not too distant future. We're in the process this year of performing a survey of those buildings, trying to prioritize those that are most important and critical to deal with, and to guesstimate what the costs and so forth are going to be so that we can evaluate how we can best handle our infrastructure. In addition to that, we have Nasho Valley. That is a road that sees an awful lot of traffic that is going to require a fair amount of work in the future. So we as a council are going to be looking at planning forward and making sure that we can accommodate the needs that we have. And if we have to look at additional revenue sources, then we want to be in a position to explain it to the community and explain the need and the reasons so that then the community can make decisions with respect to that. But we have a very good council and I'm very pleased to be working with the council, and I'm very complimentary of all the members of the council.
As I'm sure they are of you as well. The council's other goal among the four is the affordability and availability of housing, because we all know that Walnut Creek is growing. So how is the council going to be addressing that issue?
Well, housing is a statewide issue. There is a critical housing shortage in California. There is an even more critical shortage in the Bay Area, which translates into our housing markets. So it's an issue that's not just a Walnut Creek issue, it's a regional issue. And I think many of our residents have seen the impact of that issue in the last couple of years with rent increases. We are, as a council, going to be studying that. It's one of our priorities, as you mentioned. And we've had our first meeting to start talking about housing and housing issues. And I'd recommend anybody review the video of the City Council meeting for March 7 if they want to find out about it. There'll be a series of meetings, and we're going to be looking at developing those policies and those practices that will best address the issues with Walnut Creek. There's no one solution to the housing. If you read the material, and I've read an awful lot of the material, there are lots of different theories, there are lots of different studies, and none of the studies really have a conclusion. We are what some people call a microclimate. We're a built-out community, essentially, so it's an infill consideration. We have a high demand for people who want to live in Walnut Creek. So a lot of the basic studies and theories don't apply to Walnut Creek because we're kind of a unique situation that way. And we're not the only one in the area. Other cities are as well. So it's going to be a challenge. We will be working first to understand the issues, understand the theories, and probably look at a mixture of programs that might be successful. Accessory dwelling units, tiny houses. Clearly there's a need for education and outreach into the community so people understand it. And what the problem is, looking at local funding sources, how we can partner. There are just a variety of things that we're going to have to look at and make evaluations on.
Another goal that the council has laid out is to deal with the issue of homelessness and to kind of formulate a realistic response to that issue. Can you talk to me about that?
Yes, we're going to be looking at that issue. We've had a neighborhood task force that's addressed with that issue. We've seen some of the aspects of it with respect to the winter shelter. But we're going to be studying the issue on a more of a holistic approach. It is an issue that involves not only people not having houses, but their effects socially to those people, to the community. There are health issues that are associated with it, both mental and physical health. There are environmental issues that are associated with it. There is obviously a great deal of concern with respect to the increase in the homeless that's occurred in Walnut Creek.
Right.
And we have been taking steps to reach out in that regard with respect to more of a county solution. And we have been working with some of our other cities. For example, we'll be entering into an agreement with the City of Concord for what is referred to as core response teams, for when our police see a homeless person and they approach them, and that homeless person needs facilities or assistance, then we can call up this core response team that will be able to come in and do that. One of the big aspects of the homeless is education. We need to help educate our population that these are people that are as important as other people. They are people who have needs to advance, and they have particular needs, and it doesn't necessarily solve their concerns if we simply give them a handout.
Right.
We need to get them to the locations where they can get those services provided and the health taken care of, and so we need to look at it on a really broad spectrum as to what the costs are to society from it and what we should do. So you can see it's a very challenging issue. It's a regional issue, and we hope that our efforts will start spurring some regional discussion so that can be looked at in a more coordinated area.
And the last goal of the council is to update the Economic Development Strategic Plan. Can you tell me what that means?
Sure. That plan was adopted in 2006, and it needs to be updated. It's a plan that really looks at the economic benefits and growth of the city of Walnut Creek. We have been, and we will be looking at that this year, because the economic development is vital to our being able to have the revenue that we need to provide the services for the residents of Walnut Creek. We have already been doing some of those things. For example, we have a blueprint for success that was adopted by the council last year, which is focusing on streamlining and improving our development process so that people, when they come into Walnut Creek, will have a more convenient way of, or a prompt way of accomplishing what they need to accomplish. Two things that have come out of that already are we have the ability for contractors to call into one of our programs, come down for one day, make a reservation, come down for one day, and our planning department will be there that needs to be there, and they will be able to accomplish all of their Walnut Creek permits, assuming that they have their project far enough along, in one day, which is a major change and has been very well received by the building community. Obviously, there's some issues with respect to other agencies, but we've talked to several of those agencies, and they are willing to cooperate and send people down so that they can accomplish more than just the Walnut Creek during that one-day period.
That's great.
Another very important component of that is we've initiated a monthly meeting with our development community and real property or real estate community, or really anybody who's interested in what's happening in Walnut Creek, where we brief them on what the regulatory changes are coming down that might impact their projects. We invite other agencies to come down and brief them as to what they do and what they require, so that our people in Walnut Creek and the community who has an interest in coming into Walnut Creek will be able to know what their process is and know what the requirements are, and avoid that delay that often occurs. When you have a project, whether it's a retail, trying to open something, trying to build something, the cliche is time is money. Mm-hmm. And one of the real realities of that is that if our procedures are delayed and take a long period of time, then it's going to cost those people a lot more money. We've received some anecdotal information that our procedures from other agencies have been well received within the community.
Finally, Mayor, I have a personal question for you. What about living in Walnut Creek made you want to be on the City Council and do this?
I have lived in Walnut Creek for well over 35 years. I have participated in a lot of programs. I raised a family here along with my wife, Sue, and we have enjoyed the quality of life. My personal belief is that when you participate in a community, that you should provide some service back to that community. I have, for the entire time that I've been here, been engaged in a lot of service activities, from being a scout leader to youth coach to being involved with a lot of nonprofits, to being on the Chamber of Commerce board and being chairman of the board, to a very visible one, which is a commissioner of the Park, Rec, and Open Space Commission. I have always thought that it was important to give back to the community, and I've done that for years. As a result of that, I've gotten to know virtually all the community leaders over the last 25 years. Mm-hmm. And they have uniformly done a lot of good for the city. The city is here because of what they have done, what those before them have done, and what we're now doing. And our quality of life is highly dependent on that. And if we all can provide service, then I think we'll have a very good future for the city of Walnut Creek. I've been very pleased and honored to have been able to serve in the last couple of years, and I hope that I'll be able to provide some good guidance as mayor during the rest of the term that I'm on the council.
Mayor Rich Carlston, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
For more information about the state of Walnut Creek, check out this quarter's Nutshell, which also has events and happenings around town.
Speaking of happenings, take a look at the unveiling of Walnut Creek's newest public art piece on Main and Mount Diablo Boulevard.
Visions make the city more beautiful and more livable, and we're just thrilled to have this particular piece. It's going to be an exciting piece. It's going to be one that's going to be thought-provoking. It's going to cause people to stop and stare, and it's going to cause a lot of people to come over and take photographs with this particular piece. And we're just thrilled to have it.
Really a pleasure to have a fixed place that I can really look at and really imagine how the piece is going to look in place rather than looking at architectural plans. And so I can stand here and you know, really see what effect it would have, what presence it would have.
We just felt that we had a responsibility when we developed this corner to do something really special. And it was just an opportunity to do something really high profile, just a lot of exposure, and make a really strong public art statement. I think it's time to get to the unveiling.
Let's do it.
Right?
Okay.
I'll take the highway. Okay. All right. Ready? Okay, you ready? All right.
Oh, wait, that's not the piece.
And as Gerald stated, I encourage you to read the statements that he has on the table. There's a lot going on in this crazy artistic head. And I didn't know that bulldogs were bred to herd bulls. So there's a connection, and there's a lot of thought behind the piece. It's not just, he just said, I'm just going to put a bull head on a guy. It's really interesting. It's fascinating. So I encourage you to read that, and there'll be information on a plaque in the future as well. So.
And isn't this fabulous? We need to thank both the artist and Brian for making this happen in Walnut Creek. Thank you so much.
Bulldog and Bullman are very influential to the Walnut Creek community. It shows off how much art we have and how we express ourselves.
I actually walk by it every day, and you know, like to sit by it and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's my homie right here, Bullman.
I love Bullman. He's so cool. I've taken 5 photos of him already. And his dog, amazing. This is my grandson. He's with me today.
Hello. You just really add a lot of class to Walnut Creek. And your little dog, too.
So it's a bull and a dog, and the bull's in a suit.
It's definitely different. It's unique.
I like it.
Brings up so many questions that I do not have answers to.
I'm just hanging out downtown Walnut Creek, shopping, just doing my own thing. And then I walk across the street and I notice this really cute little bulldog with this interesting man, and I'm just so enthralled by this.
I think that Mr. Bullhead is extremely whimsy, and it's something that Walnut Creek needed to make everybody smile and have a good day.
I like it.
All right, so I actually have a French bulldog, and his name is Russell, and he looks exactly like this bulldog here, and the attention to detail in this is so cool.
Now that is some thought-provoking art, Ruby. For more information about all of Walnut Creek's public art, head to the Bedford Gallery's website at bedfordgallery.org.
And with the hot summer in full swing, it is the perfect time to check out Walnut Creek's newest attraction at Larkey Park. Hey, I'm Ruby Lopez for Creek Today we are here at the newly renovated Larkey Pool, and I am joined by Karen Heaston Martin. Now, you are the aquatic supervisor for Walnut Creek, and talk to me, why was it time to renovate Larkey Pool?
Larkey was a 40-year-old facility. It was old, outdated, flat water, no fun. We had a 1-foot deep round baby pool that ended up being more like a hot tub for our kids. We needed something new, we needed something fun in this area of Walnut Creek.
This is definitely new and fun. It looks fantastic. So talk to us about the activity of the splash pool.
The activity of the splash pool. So we actually eliminated our wading pool, and we thought that our residents and our visitors would actually benefit more from something like this. It's got spray, it's got waterfalls, it's got slide, it's got the play deck, and it's in all abilities. So anybody coming to the facility, whether their age or their ability, are welcome to play in this area. There's no standing water other than the slides, and that gets sloughed off. So this is really a safe place for children to play.
Now, you mentioned the residents and the public, so how did you work with them in the renovation?
In 2009, the City of Walnut Creek started a needs assessment for both of our aquatic facilities, both Larkey and Clark Swim Center. And from the development of that needs assessment, we engaged the public by public meetings, comment. They were able to provide email feedback to us, and with that, we found that our public liked this facility, but it definitely needed an upgrade.
Okay, and what kind of programs do people expect to find here?
So with our new pool, our pool went from an L-shaped 25-yard by 25-meter pool. It's now squared off. We're able to provide more swim team events. We are able to run a water polo course. Obviously, we're providing our regular programs like swim lessons and rec swimming. We'll even be able to add lap swimming during our rec swimming hours. We actually have several areas that are now covered with shade, and 2 of those areas will be rentable, so we're renting for birthday parties and picnics and things like that. We also have end of the school year private events that schools can book out. So there's a variety of options that we can do here, as well as shallow water and deep water aerobics. So our plethora of ideas on how we're going to program this pool are endless.
Yeah, and so you mentioned so many programs, and who's going to be open to? Who can use the pool?
So this is a public facility. Anybody coming in can pay an entrance fee and enter the facility and rec swim or lap swim or use the spray ground. We are actually pre-selling all of our rec swim passes, which actually gives you rec swim time here and also at Clark Swim Center. You pay 1 fee for the entire summer and get to experience this facility as well as Clark Swim Center. But we have a variety of daily admission fees, swim pass options for all of our public, and they're interchangeable between here at Larkey and at Clark Swim Center.
So now we're chatting with Kim Prost, and you are the head coach for the Walnut Creek Aquanuts. Talk to us about the Aquanuts.
The Walnut Creek Aquanuts are a world-renowned synchronized swimming club. We were born right here in Walnut Creek at Larkey Park in 1968. We're the home of 17 Olympians and 8 Olympic champions.
And I've also seen you all on TV.
Yeah, we were part of America's Got Talent in 2013, and we're pretty familiar with competing on the world stage.
Yeah, really amazing. Now talk to me about how you guys collaborated with the Larkey Pool here.
It just seemed like a really good opportunity for private and public partnership with 2 motivated parties to really make something good happen here.
And what are you most excited about have this new facility?
Really happy to have a sort of permanent home for the Aquanuts right in the city that we were born in, but also it's a great opportunity for the community with the splash pad and stuff, so I think it's going to be a win-win for family, fitness, fun, and competitive activities.
Well, I had such a cool time here learning all about the renovation of the Larkey Pool. With the hot summer days ahead, this is sure to be a splash. If you'd like some more information regarding the pool, such as hours and location, you can visit walnut-creek.org.
I've taken my kids there to the splash pad. It's right by our house, but it is really fantastic. If you're looking for something to do on a hot day, that's my recommendation. And speaking of kids, Ruby.
Yeah.
How long?
Just a couple weeks.
Boy or girl?
A girl.
Congratulations. And we'd like to welcome our newest member of the Creek Currents family. Our producer Liz gave birth to her first son Lincoln Joshua Moore on June 3rd. Congratulations, Liz.
Congratulations, and we'll see you all next time on Creek Currents.